The footage of crashes, mishaps, and accidents within this video is presented strictly for educational and informational purposes to illustrate crucial lessons in RV safety, responsible road practices, and personal preparedness.
Coming at you fast like a freight train ride. Another crazy, stupid RV design. Smoking sparks, no fear, no mild. Buckle up, it's RVs Gone Wild.
Turducken.
Turducken, where turducken.
Turducken.
Turducken, turducken, turducken.
Anyway, yeah, it's time for turducken. Turducken. Do you know what turducken is? Turducken is when you take a chicken and you cook it inside a duck, and you cook that duck inside a turkey. So you've got a chicken inside a duck inside a turkey, called a turducken. I've actually had this. It tastes awesome. If you love meat, it's 3 times the meat. Great. However, it's not necessarily the best model for towing. Let's take a look. So here we've got a fifth wheel getting towed in a fifth wheel hitch in the back of a truck trailer that's attached to the pull bumper of a larger truck. So the truck is pulling a trailer, and the trailer has a fifth wheel hitch in it, and it's connected to the trailer. Maybe it's a gooseneck, I can't tell from here. But this is trailer turducken. You might have seen trailer turducken in the tow truck world. Here's an example of a tow truck with a tow truck with a tow truck with a car. This would be another form of turducken. This is tow truck turducken. Again, not the most uncommon sight that you would see is a tow truck with a car on a tow truck. This is tow truck turducken. But RV trailer turducken is a whole nother flavor. Here's a great example where somebody decided to take a U-Haul and put a car trailer on it. And on top of that car trailer is a pickup truck. And that pickup truck has a fifth wheel and has a fifth wheel trailer attached. I gotta believe the transmission on this U-Haul must just be smoking the whole way. If U-Haul saw this, I'm sure they would their pants. This is not safe and not a good idea, but I bet it worked. So kudos to him for trying. And finally, here's a classic case of RV turducken, where somebody has a Class A, which can probably handle the load here, but on there they've got a cargo trailer with a half deck on it, and on that half deck they've got a car with a bike rack as well as a motorcycle in front of it. So attached to the red car, not even the trailer, is a whole nother boat trailer with a fishing boat on it and a canoe. So I hope he's in one of those states that allows for double towing, because a whole lot of states wouldn't allow this, and again, wouldn't make it past the first highway patrol officer you find coming into the state. So I would stay out of British Columbia if you want to do anything like this, and stay out of California if you want to do something like this. I don't know. Tell me, am I wrong? Can you do this in your state? Comment below if they allow double trailering. Would this person actually get a ticket in your state or province? Let me know.
Now, these folks have a mild form of turducken. I think this is a very reasonable setup where they actually have at least the 2 different vehicles stacked on top of each other. So this large Class C is only towing 1 trailer. But it is sort of a form of turducken where you've got the boat on the car, on the back of the trailer attached to the RV. But let's look at some more extreme versions of this. This is rolling around TikTok, although the video has now been deleted, where you got a heavy-duty truck pulling a fifth wheel, which is towing a pickup truck using a bumper hitch, and that pickup truck has a cargo trailer attached to it. I believe this is somewhere in Europe, and according to the TikTok video, this is actually legal for this driver to do. I'm guessing he's a commercial driver. On this one, you've got a pickup truck carrying a fifth wheel with a full-size pontoon boat on the back. And if that wasn't enough, you got another trailer carrying a jet ski on the very back of that. If that doesn't scream America, I don't know what does. Now, this rather phallic setup has a boat sitting on top of this truck, which renders the fifth wheel hitch unusable, right? Because there's a boat on top. But to accommodate that, they've got some weird device that I've never seen that's effectively a fifth wheel hitch attached to the back of the bumper toe of the truck. And then they have the trailer hooked into that fifth wheel hitch. And on the back of that fifth wheel trailer is a bumper hitch with another cargo trailer. So you've got quite a turducken setup there. And finally, parked at this gas station, you've got the classic truck with a pull trailer, so that's not a fifth wheel, with another bumper pull of a tow dolly with a pickup truck on the back of there, where you can see they got the picnic table. And then finally, you've got this trailer at the end with a motorcycle on there. And of course, they've got those yellow straps there that I don't even think are tightened down. And with those yellow straps, that means...
That's not going anywhere.
So somewhere in an Asian country, maybe China, this is a turducken of certain sorts, but this is delivery truck upon delivery truck upon delivery truck. And here's to show you that turducken is nothing new. Trailer turducken's been going on for a long time. Look at this old picture here with this classic car, some 50s or 60s model, something or another, pulling this trailer, pulling a boat, pulling it all at once. This is nothing new. And like a lot of you folks commented in my last videos, it's perfectly legal in a lot of states, and it's very illegal in other states. So I guess it depends on what state you live in, whether or not you can pull this kind of stuff off. Now here's something I've never seen before. Have you ever seen this where a tractor will be delivering other tractors and they have got some custom mount between them all? Now I have seen this a few times, but I've never seen it with a pickup truck hanging out on the end. If I had to guess, this is a delivery driver who's going to take these to a location and then, use his truck to return back. But however this is set up, this is a unique setup. And I keep thinking, like, what kind of custom fifth wheel mount do you have in the back to make this setup work? Never seen that before in my life. And here's another classic turducken. This really isn't necessarily so amazing or crazy, but it just looked nice. I like the tow vehicle. I like the way they've got the camper shell mounted on this trailer, and it almost looks like they measured it to fit or built it custom. Like everything fits just right, and you've got this sweet ass off-road rig on the back. And then the nice thing about this kind of setup, when they do finally settle into a campsite, that whole back trailer becomes this great raised deck, right, above the weather and all that, a place to throw out some chairs and a barbecue. I really like these setups, and in the future, I've thought about trying to do something custom, but you know how it is. Time, money, blah, blah, blah. I just end up buying something pre-built or ready to go. And some of these turducken truck setups can get really long. Now here you've got a heavy-duty truck, like a full big rig, pulling a fairly decent-sized fifth wheel and then a trailer on the back. Clearly this tow vehicle can handle it, and this probably isn't really unsafe or even that sketchy out there on the road. But it certainly takes up a lot of space. And this one takes up even more space. In fact, I bet you the only place that this guy can park is at the Walmart parking lot, which is where you see him right now. I mean, I tried to estimate it, assuming that trailer in the back is around 35 feet or maybe longer. This whole thing has got to be pushing into 70 feet. How do you make a turn on city streets with a setup like this? I mean, you need 2 lanes to make a turn with this one, I gotta believe. And finally, yep, those heavy-duty trucks, they can certainly handle a lot. In a perfect world, if I had all the money in the world and my wife wouldn't totally hate it, I would absolutely have one of these heavy-duty transportation trucks as my tow vehicle. They can tow anything, anywhere, anyhow, and you can always bring a little toad in the back like these folks for driving around town once you park. Of course, you're going to need a lot of space when you drive around, but if you're down in the desert or up here in BC, there's more than enough space around. But here is a very special tow setup that I just couldn't pass up. I lose count every time I start counting all these trucks going by. So put in the comments, how many trucks do you see all connected?
Custom RV, they took a classic VW bus, put it on top of a school bus. They even built a slide out into this darn thing. I haven't seen too many schoolies with slide outs.
This first one has an old trailer embedded inside a converted school bus. Now, this is actually a really smart idea if you want to build out your schoolie and you don't want to have to build all that infrastructure. Just take a trailer that already has all the infrastructure, cut out your schoolie, and just drop the trailer right in there. It's both scary and genius. And here we've got this Ford dually with, it seems like half of a camper shell with another camper shell on top or embedded inside. This was actually sent to me by Will I Am, not the performer. And I asked him actually in an email to tell me more about, is this thing actually sitting on top or is it embedded inside? Haven't heard back from him, so if you see this, Will, go ahead and comment in this video as to what the heck we're looking at here, because it looks to me that you basically got a camper shell inside a camper shell in the back of a truck. That's turducken enough for me. Not only that, but because this thing is being held together properly by a series of ratchet straps, that means this thing ain't going nowhere. It's going to get the RVing with Joe Tip of the Hat Gold Star Award for craziest Ford in this video. I don't know what this guy was thinking. Again, Will, if you get a chance, comment below. Where did you see this, or what more do you know about this truck? Of course, those are some top-heavy custom turduckens, but you've got that traditional turducken I keep seeing a lot of pics of. You've got this Class A towing a flat car, towing a jet ski, and they even got a little cherry on top with that surfboard. Or this one is even cooler. You got a Class A towing a pickup truck, towing a massive grill smoker. That's the way I'd like to roll. Wherever this guy's going, I want to camp next to him, and I'll be ready when he pulls the meat off that big old barbecue. Heck, carrying that barbecue is one of the best uses of a tow vehicle I've seen so far. Now I want some barbecue. And of course, turducken's kind of defined by how many wheels are on top of how many wheels. So you got this pickup truck carrying a big old fifth wheel trailer, and then behind it you got a flat tow with like some kind of side-by-side, and then an ATV behind it. That's a whole lot of wheels rolling down the road. That's a good recipe for turducken right there. And another example of lots of wheels. This time they're carrying a couple of choppers in the back. So you got a whole lot of wheels rolling down the road on this one with this motorcycle turducken. And although this isn't an RV, here you got a truck with 3 trailers behind it getting towed by this massive wrecker. Looking at that, you got like 100 feet of pure semi-turducken. Now let's talk about Mexican turducken. If you're anywhere in California or Texas or some of the southern border states, you'll often see where Mexican nationals will come across the border legally. They'll come across with their truck, and then they'll pick up scrap vehicles and bring them back to Mexico. Now, whether they're going to bring them back to fix them up or bring them back to scrap them, they're just taking salvage vehicles out of the junkyards and moving them down into Mexico. In fact, Mexico's not too happy with all the junkyard they're bringing in. But in the process, they create these sometimes custom welded or custom collected flat tow setups, which are not exactly legal, but I have a feeling the highway patrols in these various states just want to see these guys and these vehicles leave the state as fast as they can. And so they often get away with driving down the road without getting pulled over. And really, they're usually doing this barely the speed limit in the right lane. For those of you who don't know, in California, all the trucks and anything towing's got to be 55 miles per hour. I think it's a stupid idea. It makes things really dangerous when you got half the traffic going 20 miles an hour faster than the other half. But nonetheless, back to the point. These guys are often towing in the right lane, and you see them, they'll usually put like an in tow sign, and when you realize these 3 or 4 cars in front of you are all just being towed by one car. And that's Mexican turducken. Now I want tacos. Now here's a first, motorcycle turducken. I don't think I've had a motorcycle turducken yet, but I want to thank Bob from Sunray Custom Trikes who sent me these pictures in. He writes, I converted the bike in 2000 that needed a place for my Beagle to ride when he got tired of being on the trike. So he built his camper from scratch, he made it using a mold, and then he bought this pod trailer in the back, painted it all to match. He actually asked a state trooper once if he could have this, if there's any laws against it. And the state trooper said,
Ain't no law that said you can't.
and he said it looked great. And it really does look great. So if you're around Rockford, Michigan, and you have an interest in trikes, maybe look up Sunray Custom Trikes. Thanks, Bob. One of our RV Gone Wild viewers, Jeffrey F., sent me this. He said his friends call him Toto for carrying this kind of turducken around, where he always carries his fifth wheel and his boat. It's definitely a healthy, proper setup there with the fifth wheel and the flat tow. But yeah, to those folks who don't know about RVs and don't know about towing, this stuff blows their mind. How can you tow this down the road? Well, good job, Toto. And I think I showed this one before, but now that I know a lot more about dollies and the use of a tow dolly in between a truck and a trailer, I still don't think this is right. But if we're counting turduckens by the total amount of wheels being towed by an engine, well then take a look at this setup where we've got at least 3 different ATVs, you've got a side-by-side in the back, 2 different trailers. I'm not even beginning to count all the tires there. You can tell me. We definitely got a good off-road turducken going on here. And with that yellow truck, everyone's going to see him coming. I ran across this picture, and although it's not really towing an RV, it's sort of turducken. It's like reverse turducken. It's like putting the turkey inside the chicken here, right? I mean, shouldn't the other truck be towing the other truck? I mean, that's a mismatch. That truck should not be towing that trimmer, if you ask me. Now, this one was kind of sad. I almost didn't want to show it, and I'm hoping nobody gets hurt. But there was a couple things about this. First and foremost, my heart goes out to anyone who loses their rig like this. I'm guessing this was a rollover and it was on its side. But on another note, and what was quite impressive, is even though this thing was torn apart, the way they got it onto a rig in one piece, it shows that it's quite a well-built RV and quite some talented tow folks. From the looks of it, Jackson Motors there in San Antonio, Texas. These guys know how to put a rig back together and get it onto a flatbed like that. And I was even thinking, is it really still hooked up to the fifth wheel? If it's still connected to the fifth wheel and they did that, that's amazing. I'm going to look more online to see if there's any video of this recovery, because I want to see how they did this recovery. Again, to the folks that may own this RV, or if you know them, my heart goes out to them. Nobody wants to see their rig on their side. Any RV that has a crash is a tragedy in my book, no matter how it happened. I found that looking around for crazy turducken trailers, and you know it's getting harder to find. I think I used up the internet looking for turducken. And we're going to start with construction turducken. Chris G sent this in. It's a photo of his dad's rig back in Australia when he used to grade the outback roads, and he actually would tow his truck and trailer behind the grader as he would go down the roads. The plus side is he was always towing his trailer over freshly graded road. And that takes us to Cody P, who's showing us another one of these flatbed turduckens, where somebody takes a fifth wheel trailer or another kind of trailer and puts it on a big long flatbed so they can carry their toys on the back. Of course, you gotta have a tow rig that can handle something like this. And this is 2 RVs are better than 1 turducken. And when I saw this one, I thought, how much RV do you actually need? I'm guessing there's enough people along on this journey that they need the extra RV storage in the back, or maybe this is for a business. But then I kind of zoomed in even further and just trying to figure out, is that a trailer with a golf cart in the back or just a whole bunch of bikes? I wish I could see a higher resolution picture of this, but this is the best one I could get. I always think it's funny when you see a full-size RV motorhome carrying a full-size trailer. That's a lot of beds. And James E., well, he sent us multiple turducken recipes here. We've got this fairly heavy-duty rig with what looks to be a fifth-wheel trailer just sitting right on the top. I don't think this is a camper shell. Looking at that side door, you gotta have a big ladder to get up there, too. This is one mighty long turducken where it's got the big rig with the vehicle on the back, and then it has the fifth wheel trailer, and then it has another trailer with this thing's crazy. I can't imagine trying to take turns in any kind of city with this. I would just go from truck stop to truck stop. I pride myself on being able to tow well. That's a whole lot of vehicle. And this last one from James E. yet again shows how you can take these fifth wheels and put them on goosenecks. And just as I was putting this video together, I saw more emails come in calling these possibly goose campers. Is that the name of this style? I'm going to have to do some more Googling on it. I'll probably have a lot more on this on number 9 coming up soon. This is towable energy turducken. And what I mean by that is he's got his truck, he's got his fifth wheel, but then he's carrying another utility trailer. And in this utility trailer, he's got it all decked out with all sorts of energy sources. He's got batteries in there, he's got a generator in there, he's got a backup generator in there, gasoline. Let me show you.
It's got the tow behind storage, built-in generator so nobody can steal it.
Diesel
heater so that I can warm it up in here to start the generator if it's super cold. But I put 2 Nautilus 6-volt batteries in here, joined them in series to give me 12.
Barbecue.
Summertime, of course, I even got more stuff in here, but I don't carry all the diesel fuel.
Yeah. Spare generator you were mentioning?
Spare generator, spare diesel heaters and parts and stuff. Compressor, tables.
Just set.
Extension cords, hoses.
And there's a link below to his video if you want to check out the full video. And Michael B sent this in. It's a classic. It's schooly turducken. You saw a lot of hippies make these in the 60s and the 70s, and it's a look that I still like. Now check out this badass big rig. Paul C sent this to me. He's had it for over 24 years. It was a 1978 GMC General with a Cummins Big Cam 400 and a double overdrive 13-speed transmission. It's permanently attached to a 27-foot 1972 Airstream Ambassador with he has a walk-through setup so he can get from the cab to the back. He says it'll climb mountains as fast as he dares, and it was designed for heavy haul. I put a link in the description to this video. Check out this drone view. I was really impressed with this. When I see a trailer like this, it makes me rethink what I want out of my retirement rig. Plum Crazy sent in this. This is their personal turducken setup. I thought it was a good representation since they had the exact length of it to tell you this is what 67 feet looks like. So that gives you some context to how long these rigs get. It's a Ram 3500 with a 30-foot Arctic Fox fiber. It's got a 20-foot utility trailer behind with a 4-seat Honda side-by-side. He took this picture at Independence Rock in between Casper and Rawlings, Wyoming. You are plumb crazy, aren't you? I'm going to call this one, Your Trailer is Backward Turducken. This is another one of those turduckens where he's taken a trailer off the chassis and put it onto a truck, but he put it on backwards. Got himself quite the tow behind him, and he just has this funniest shit-ass grin on his face when the guy drives by. Looks happy. Thanks for sending that in, Randall. Tracy from Boulder City showed me this one, and this fire truck, has a lot of water capacity because they're built to handle carrying a lot of water. Has a huge passenger compartment, and it's carrying a fairly sizable RV. So this is quite the setup. I love that toy carrier pickup in the back, the way they got it set up. This is definitely fire truck turducken. Thanks to Windworn Saddle Tramp for sending in this moto turducken. Now, this is the second motorcycle turducken I've seen. I'm guessing I'm going to see more. Send them my way. Remember, you can send me any photos of these various RV rigs or crazy things you're seeing on the road. Send them to me at rvingwithjoe@gmail.com. Please send me your emails. I read them all. I try to reply to everybody I can. I can't reply to everybody, but I'll try to include your picture in one of these videos. And you can see Mr. Saddle Tramp here has made great use of his motorcycle turducken. And this isn't turducken, but man, that's one nice, long luxury rig. It makes you wonder, is this for some stars or for some talent at a movie set? Anyway, let's laugh. Yeah! It's time for turducken!
Every time I see this, I chuckle just a little bit. So this one from Mark H, he has the loader in at 32,000 pounds, the trailer at 7,500 pounds. He tows a geo tracker behind all of this. And then he said, although it's not in the picture here, that he pulls a motorcycle trailer with fuel behind the geo tracker. This is construction geo tracker motorcycle turducken. And Paul C sent this in. He apologizes. It's not the best photo in the world. If you look a little closer, you'll look to see that this is actually a fifth wheel that's been converted to a pull trailer with some sort of I-beam welded in there. It amazes me. I don't know what possesses people to drive something like this down the road. And another classic turducken, I'm seeing more and more of these where they're not only double towing, but they're double towing two RVs here. I guess big families bring friends. So Phone Around sent this to me. He said he just wanted to show his turducken recipe. He tows it all over Wyoming. The big camper is for him and his wife, and the small one's for the kids. That makes a lot of sense. And I'm guessing it's legal in Wyoming to tow something like this. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what she said. I like the whole wagon circle setup with his buddies here at the gas station. You know, you got to keep it tight. Keep it tight when you're on the road. We got classic tow truck turducken sent in by Melissa L. Thanks for sending it to us. She saw this on the I-95 Maine. Oh, I thought it was Florida, Maine on the other end. At mile marker 68, there's a pickup truck sitting on a flatbed tow truck, which is being hauled by a land dolly, she calls it, being hauled by a tractor. Thanks a lot, Melissa. Now, Paul K sent this into me. If you remember my last video, I actually had another pic of this very rig. That's the funny thing is more and more of you folks send me in pictures. I'm getting many people sending me different pictures of the same rig as it travels around America. So in this case, Paul K sent me this picture, which shows us a little better than the last one, what's actually on the end of that trailer. It's one of those four-wheel bicycles that you kind of can rent usually down at the boardwalk. And then there is just an endless pile of bikes on that trailer. So it's pretty clear here that there's just a lot of people traveling together on this rig. I had somebody else comment in the comments on that last one too, saying they do the same thing. They tow a whole extra pop-up, and it's just so that their kids can bring their friends. So I guess that's why RVs tow RVs. The Tyranny Response Team sent me in a few different pictures. Here's a quick clip of the Tyranny Response Team's trailer. They can tell us more.
The camper is a TLRV camper. Works good. It's a 22. It's by no means the best quality camper, but it was reasonable in price, and weight-wise it was good. It's only about 2,200 pounds dry, so that's not bad. The way I mounted it on there is I had to build a platform on the bottom. I think that ended up being about 8 inches tall. It's the white part just above the stickers, and I did that with 2x6s and 3/4 inch treated plywood. That where it says Polaris, there's some storage underneath there. You can open that up, and I've got some tables and chairs and stuff like that.
And I'm getting more emails and comments saying that these are sometimes called crawler haulers. So as much as I'm hearing some of these folks are calling these like gooseneck campers, I'm also having some people in the comments talk to me about crawler haulers. I'm going to do a little more research into this, but apparently some of these are built like this so that somebody can carry their crawler or their tractor or something like that in the back and have their RV with them and just keep it all in one trailer.
You got your ATV, you got your trailer, and you got your truck.
You can see someone also being like a for-hire skid steer on the back of there. There's a whole lot of reasons that maybe they would haul something other than a recreational vehicle. So, but I'm seeing an increasing amount of these. Is this something that's actually being sold at dealerships as a new type of RV, or is this all custom order, custom build kind of stuff? I'll put a link to their
YouTube.
Don't you say it.
We'll put a link to the Tyranny Response Team's YouTube channel below.
Michael E sent us in this picture of his setup. Looks like a nice clean setup, and he's got multiple like ATV and off-road vehicles there on that back trailer. Again, if you measure your turducken by number of tires, this one's getting a pretty high score.
That's a lot of tires.
A lot of tires.
And he's been towing this for 7 years.
For 7 years, yeah.
That's a long time. Well used.
Well done. I'm ready to go camping.
John and Sue sent us these pictures. They saw this at a Costco in northern BC in 2021. They couldn't figure out how they get the side-by-side on and off the trailer. They also included their smaller version of turducken that they actually drive all around BC in. It's great to see a fellow British Columbian, and thanks for the extra comments in your email. Now this is Vladimir's rig. Vladimir G sent this in. It's 77 feet long. It's a Ram 5500 with a gearbox behind the cab, a 32-foot gooseneck trailer with 2 Yamaha quads on top, a Honda side-by-side, a diesel generator, a yellow Suzuki motocross motorcycle, a Kia Sorento, a 10-foot utility trailer with another Yamaha quad on it, and 36 tires in total. Again, if you're going to measure Turducken by the total number of tires, I think Vlad wins it. Harlan, 1956, sent this along. This is his personal Turducken setup. It's a Ford F450 with a 36-foot impression fifth wheel, and of course they have their golf cart on a wagon in the back. You can't really four-wheel tow a golf cart. You got to put it on a trailer. Devin E. sent this to us. He has his own YouTube channel called Papa's Garage. Here's a cool school bus with a pop-up on top. I've seen trucks with pop-ups on top. I've seen schoolies with like vans melded to the top. I have not seen this with a pop-up camper on top of the bus. I'm guessing you can access that camper from the inside. Who knows? I didn't have any pics of the inside, but that's some cool bus Turducken there. We got Dave B here. He lives real close to me here in the lower mainland of British Columbia. Props to the local. He's also suggesting we do an RVing with Joe camp out locally. I saw that message. I'm thinking about it. He took this picture at a BMW Car Club event where they introduced the new Mini. I guess they were driving these things around on top of a Ford Excursion. It was a legit working car, but this was the promotion. And I thought, hey, this is another way to do Turducken. You can actually just put a Mini on top of your truck and then tow whatever you want behind it. He also saw the same setup for a US promotion and captured this photo as well. Dave B, keep in touch on rvingwithjoe@gmail.com. Anyone can send me pics there. You can reach out to me there. And I'd love to know when you got that 1978 Rialto out there camping locally. Heck, this weekend I'll be camping out in Chilliwack. That's the great thing about RVing. You don't have to go far. Harry T sent me this link. I actually had somebody else send me a photo of this van that they saw on Quartzsite, but it turns out Bob Wells, the infamous van life YouTuber out of Quartzsite in the Southwest, actually did an interview with him. I'll put a link to the video. If you're into van life, you got to check out Bob's page. Guy's famous. But here's his interview with this gentleman with this weird plexiglass see-through RV.
And then traveling the rest of the year?
I come here, but not so late. The legal width of 8.5 feet from here over, but when I put my windows up, it makes it too wide. So, but the fact is that this would blow right over. And this is almost unheard of to put something like this on a little tiny 4-cylinder truck.
Roger Don sent me in this pic. This is sort of like a crawler hauler without the crawler. I've been posting a bunch of these photos where people are taking campers and dropping them into trailers. It seems like a great idea, especially if you already have a trailer and a camper. Why put it in the back of your truck? These pics came from TP. He actually has his own YouTube channel called Redneck Action. Feel free to check that out. This is sort of like military meets vintage Turducken. It's that cool style that I keep putting pics up about, where you actually just take a full trailer and just put it right on the back of some oversized big rig truck. Similar to this one that John sent me in. He saw this at the racetrack in Watkins Glen, New York, and here it looks like some sort of scamp trailer that was put on the back of some classic Chevy truck, all painted to match. Looks good. Guess who? Joseph H., another Joe, sent this in. He thought this might interest us. It's an ingenious way to use a 4-post car lift to carry a bunch of toys. He just got a quick picture of this. What did have him concerned is this thing's well over 14 feet. A little worried about the height. That's not his problem. And Michael sent us his little modest Turducken here, where he's got a truck with a jet ski in the back. He's got his trailer, and he's got his boat. But what stood out to me more is I bet you this guy gets pulled over a little bit because he's kind of got a funny-looking driver here. So I hope this doggy has a license. You gotta tell us, Michael, how well does the dog drive, or does he just help you backing up? Terry M sent this to us. She only had a moment to get a picture of this. She saw this behind a Cracker Barrel in South Carolina. Basically, they chopped up a schoolie where they got that Jeep on the back. Apparently, this whole thing gets towed as one long rig. Todd R sent this to us. This is a classic crawler hauler. First, I was wondering, why would he mount the fifth wheel backwards? Then I realized it's because we can fit one more vehicle on the back end of that trailer under the front of the fifth wheel trailer. That's now mounted on that gooseneck. That's a whole lot of rig. Tova F spotted this in Bellingham, Washington. Now, I've actually shown this on my channel before, and people have sent me pictures of this. But now that I know it's in Bellingham, that's not too far from my house. Next time I'm RVing south of the border in Washington State, I'm going to be looking all over for this. If I spot it, I'm going to ask them to let me take photos of the inside. Thanks, Tova. Todd C sent this our way. He's not sure what the truck used to be, but he saw this in Cobb County, Georgia. It's been sitting there for years, and I guess this is a GMC-style RV chassis on top of a big rig. Tim R sent this one in. This is their simple Turducken setup where they're towing a trailer with a truck, but they also got this big old side-by-side mounted on top of the truck. I gotta say, that truck is pretty weighed down, but it looks like it's weighed down from all that freedom that's mounted on top. there's even more turducken. Bill N sent this in. He loves these buses where they melded together various parts onto the top, often VW buses. I like this one. In the name of turducken, it's actually got poultry on the top. How many RVs actually have poultry on the top? Here's another school bus with a VW bus on top, and it looks like it's got a wood stovepipe poking out of that thing. And then we have this. Yeah. Next. Brian J sent this in. It's a 1978 Ford Econoline camper conversion. I love the look of this old Ford conversion. I mean, this thing's a real party bus if I ever saw one. All that classic interior. This one's going to get the RVing with Joe Tip of the Hat Gold Star Ford Award for Best Ford on this series. There was a lot of Fords in this series, so it was a hard choice. But for whatever reason, I just really like this one. And that's all that counts, because I get to choose. Now, I've shown this turducken before. I remember one episode in the past where they melded together a car and a panel van. But here somebody got even more photos. It started as a Cadillac, and then it became something else. Corvy, who is an RVing with Joe repeat fan, so thanks for sending these in, Cor. Cor saw these all last Saturday in Nelson, Nevada. It's a whole series of different schoolies and various built-out models. Man, I don't know where this Nelson, Nevada is, but it sounds like it's a place I gotta go check out. Definitely some funky rigs in here. Thanks again, Cor, for sending all these in. Deb P sent this in. She called it Parking Lot Turducken. This was spotted in Topeka, Kansas. There's a story there. There has to be. Thanks, Deb. Logan S sent this in with a little story. His neighbor was leaving for the season. They're both full-time RVers, and he snuck a blow-up doll in the back of his side-by-side as a joke. Now, his neighbor drove all the way to his destination, 100 miles. He dropped his trailer, he dropped his fifth wheel, and it was only after all of that that he finally noticed that he'd been driving around with a blow-up doll. Little juvenile, but boys will be boys. It made me laugh. Mark L spotted this on Reddit. I guess it was in McCalla, Alabama. There's a whole lot of turducken going on here. We've got trucks upon trucks upon trucks. We got a car on a truck pulling a truck. This is a Thanksgiving-sized turducken here. Now, Marty here, he has all kinds of turducken recipes that he fires up. He's got a 2015 Ram 2500. It pulls this Cougar half-ton towable fifth wheel, but then he's got a lift on the trailer. He tows behind it a trailer with a 2014 Street Glide Harleys. He says he takes it from Louisiana to West Virginia mountains. He says the Cummins eats those mountains alive. Come out here to the West and try the Rockies. Really put that Cummins to work. So many different doubles here. Ron H sent this in. In one of the early episodes, I posted a similar one to this, where they actually have the boat mounted upright. I'm guessing it slides out the back. It's really interesting to see how they actually undock this boat. Roy K spotted this one in East Texas. He said that it was towing a boat on the trailer. I'm not sure if it's towing a boat on the RV itself or if there's another trailer behind there. Anyway, that's a wild looking rig. Thanks for the support, Roy. And Todd R sent in these turduckens. You might have remembered Todd R from my last video with his big old beefy rig rolling down the road. Thanks for sending in these turduckens. Brian sent this in. These are basically pre-built like this. They're sometimes called hybrid rigs. I remember looking at these once when I was looking for RVs, but without a toy to put in that deck, it really wasn't worth it for us just to have an open space. Nice rig, Brian. This is from Kelly M. This was spotted, I guess, near Sandpoint, Idaho. Shout out to Sandpoint, Idaho. I used to live there when I was a little kid. Apparently this camper or converted trailer has jacks on the side, so it can jack itself up the way you see with a camper rig that goes in the back of a truck. Imagine the truck then can just pull out, leaving the trailer there at the campsite. People get creative out there. I love it. Thanks for sending this, Kelly. Gary D wanted to share his rig with us. This is his personal rig, his own RV turducken. It's a 2002 Chevy 2500 HD. He's towing a 1998 Prowler bunkhouse and a 14-foot utility trailer. And on top of that, he has a Kawasaki Mule. He's got a generator, gas, water containers. This guy is ready for the apocalypse. Now this is taking a trailer dolly to a whole new level. You get a trailer hooked up to a dolly, hooked up to a truck. And then that truck is being pulled by a sedan by a tow rope. This is sketchy turducken right here. I do not endorse this setup. I do not recommend you drive this fast with this type of setup ever. I'm going to thank Jimmo and Keith C, who each sent me in more pictures of this same trailer. I swear I'm going to do a whole video just about this trailer. And if anybody ever talks to the people who own this trailer,
please give them my channel name. I want to talk to them. I'm starting to feel guilty, like I'm stalking them, because I have now 5, 6, 8 pics from different people of those folks, you know, driving around the country. It's almost like they're being surveilled by the East German police. You know, it's really funny though that so many people have taken pictures of this rig. And here's 2 more I got from 2 different people. Almost every week I get a picture of this rig from somebody. It came down from Alaska, it's heading, I think, down to California, and everyone from there in between has been taking photos. Robert S., aka Mouse in the Falls, here on YouTube. He's in Montana, and he found this rig sitting in the Walmart parking lot in Great Falls, Montana. That's certainly a heavyweight. If that's what's on top of the truck, I wonder what cool thing they have in the trailer. And somebody sent me this picture, I guess it was from like a Martha Stewart Instagram or something, but it has lobster cooked inside a chicken. So what do we call this? Lobsterkin? Maybe lob chicken? I was also thinking maybe lobstickin'. Thanks, Stacey A, for sending this in. To me, it looks like the lobster is wearing a chicken vest, and for some reason, that reminds me of this clip.
See my vest made from real gorilla chest.
And this gorgeous piece of turducken would have Mr. Burns going, excellent. Stacy sent this to us. She wanted to show what her husband and her son built. They had a toy hauler, but it wasn't big enough to haul their side-by-sides. So basically, they built a custom trailer, fit it, they call it the Taj Mahaler. Her husband David dreamed of this hauler, he built it himself with the help of their son. You basically end up with 2 decks on this rig. You've got a place to store the vehicles, you got a place to work on the vehicles, you can have different groups in different areas. Toolbox galore. If any of these toys break, they are taken care of. They got the raised platform in the front, they've got the family outing area in the back with the propane flame table, and I mean, this thing is just set up. I am so impressed. Stacy, you got a great family there, and those are some great pics. Thank you very much. Dan D sent this in to us. It's his own version of turducken. It's kind of hidden turducken. You can't quite see what's going on here in this one pic. This is his friend's turducken. As you can see, he tows the RV, but where that canvas is, there's actually a rollback tow truck. And on there is a Razor side-by-side, 2 kayaks, and 2 3-wheeler recumbent trikes. So once he unhooks his trailer, he's able to just tip his bed back and just roll all his vehicles off of there. It's like low-profile turducken. And David G sent this in to us. This is South African turducken. In the summer down in South Africa, apparently they're just as crazy as we are here in the States and Canada. So this is a typical South African turducken setup where they got that off-road trailer, they got another trailer, they got bikes on the back. It's a triple tow job. Eric B sent this to us. It's sort of like a triathlon turducken here. He's got the side-by-side for the hunting season. He's got the sea-doos for the lake camping. He's got the RV. It sort of is the trifecta of everything you want to do when you go out there and camp, apparently. Kenneth D sent this in. He sent this in showing that Scamp does not endorse this type of towing. And in fact, he himself does not suggest that you tow an extra trailer on the back of a little Scamp. But he does, because it's his Scamp and his truck. Thanks, Ken, for sending this in. Whoo! Marty M sent this in to us. This is a big old turducken. These are his friends. I guess the person's name is Nomad Neil and Dawn. He operates his RV service upgrade business out of this storage box they built on the back of that heavy-duty truck. Marty also showed us his old rig where he carries his 4-door Jeep Wrangler in the box of this truck. Another specialized turducken. And finally, it's not quite turducken, but this one's going to get the tip of the hat RVing with Joe Gold Star Award for being the most awesome Ford of the day. There's just something about this beefy rig. Tells me if I had this rig, I could tow any RV I wanted. Robert N sent this in. This is how he used to tow with his 5th wheel and his extra trailer on the back, but now he has a toy hauler. Still wanted to show off his old turducken though, even though it's gone. I want to thank Dave Stovall for sending these in. He sent us a whole lot of pics. I couldn't quite use them all, but I love this turducken here because you got the crawler and the golf cart. You got the trailer. You got a lot of wheels on this turducken. You know what I say? If you measure turducken by wheels, this one's got a pretty high score. And he also sent in this big, mean, heavy-duty rig. I guess he owned this Freightliner with this big trailer. Not sure what's inside there, but it sure looks mean. This very unique set of pictures came from Adrian A. He comes from Newfoundland. That's a fellow Canadian up here. He's attached some photos of a small 8-foot camper that he made. It was designed to be able to be towed behind a snowmobile or an ATV, but it also fits in a half-ton pickup. It's wired for 12 and 120 volt power. It's got built-in propane furnace, which is great for the winter trips. There's a hatch in the floor so we can actually take it ice fishing, and the table folds down to make a twin-size bed. What a versatile rig. Great job, Adrian. Alan S. wanted to share the Super C build that he did, built on a C70 from 1979. Actually put it all together. I love it when someone builds their own Super C. Great work. And when I say Super C, I mean a Super C class RV. If you're not sure, Bill N. wanted to thank us for posting a pic of his dad camper on the Buick chassis, and he got a kick out of seeing it on the site. So tell your dad we said hello. Here's another amusing rig that he found in Montana. Let's take a look at this thing. I was wondering what was going on here, and it appears that there is a trailer-like body that's attached to the back of this Suzuki, but with a single caster. So that makes it not technically a double trailer. Essentially, the Suzuki and the trailer and the boat on top are all one single official trailer. Definitely turducken. Large Marge sent us this clip. I saw this one on Instagram myself as well. I think this might be in India. It's definitely South Asia, right? But here you've got tricycle turducken.
Holy shit, bro. You wanna go on and go mix it? Mama say.
I can think of no earthly reason that they're doing this, but it looks funny as heck. John C. sent this in. This is some turducken he actually made inside the Snow Runner game. So this is actually gameplay turducken. He'd like to point out that these are all 3 Ford trucks, 4-wheel drive with a diesel power stroke. Robert C. sent this in to us. This is sort of this Class C been chopped into a turducken mobile with the motorcycle that goes in the back. So in my mind, this definitely qualifies as turducken, and it's a really cool mod of a Class C. You know a man loves his motorcycle when he gives half of his RV to his bike and takes the other half for himself. I'm not sure what's going on with this military turducken, but it seems like they're taking some kind of side-by-side and getting it inside some sort of troop transport. I wasn't in the military. Maybe one of you guys out there can tell me what's going on here. And thank you for your service. Tom H. sent this video in to me. It's actually Casey Liddell. He's a tow operator and sometimes snow winter recovery YouTuber. He's got a bit of an attitude, but he's fun to watch. And here's a video he threw up.
What are these guys even doing? This guy's pulling a car with this. This guy's pulling doubles up here.
Again, there'll be a link for Casey Liddell at Cascade Towing in the description. Now, who knows what's going on here? Wayne W. sent this in. He was a little confused himself. You've got this beautiful Class A, and it's got this trailer with this old pickup truck with this old camper on top. You got to wonder who's towing it for what. And then if you look closely, there's something really bad about this picture. It's missing a tire in the back. I'm hoping they weren't driving on from here without fixing that tire.